Hello there, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Logical NDE, where we bring you intriguing stories of near-death experiences that people from all over the world share with us. If you are new to the channel, we'd like to tell you that our videos contain conversations about real-life near-death experiences for all those who are on a quest to unveil the reality of the afterlife. As for our regular viewers, please sit back and enjoy today's episode with your favorite snacks. Today's stories come from 3 different people who underwent some extraordinary near-death experiences and saw something beyond the normal dimension. Number 1. A journey to the heaven. Nida McCartney is a 75-year-old lady who works as a teacher in London. Nida has glimpsed the afterlife at the age of 10 when she was a little kid. As a little girl, Nida lived with her mother and stepdad in the countryside in Chilterns. Her house nestled at the top of the hills. She was living the best of her life in the countryside. She enjoyed picking wildflowers and wandering in the forests for hours. One summer day, Nida set out in the woods to collect sweet pea blossoms for her mother. While she was picking up the pea blossoms, Nida heard a creepy sound from behind the bushes. As she turned around, she almost froze on spotting a snake rapidly advancing towards her. Taking full advantage of this opportunity, the snake raised its body and bit her legs. A shot of pain ran through her body and Nida screamed. But all of a sudden, she lost all her energy and collapsed on the ground. Nida recalled, for a moment she felt her body was extremely heavy, but later she felt a sudden jerk. She was gripped in fear. She knew it was death approaching her. However, afterwards, she felt as if some substances were leaving her body and she was floating higher in the air. It felt lighter than ever. Her fear disappeared and she courageously opened her eyes to see around. As she opened her eyes, she was amidst beautiful gardens. It was a spectacular sight for Nida. She began strolling around and noticed a dazzling light. The light grew bigger and brighter. Soon the light materialized into a human, her deceased dad. His arms reached out for Nida. Nida felt an overwhelming urge to hug him, but he shook his head and told her not to come closer. He instead told her to return back to Earth and said, "You have a lot to witness and a lot to accomplish. My love shall always stay with you. But return to your mother as she waits for you to open your eyes." This dreamlike journey only lasted for seconds. However, as she fluttered her eyes open, she found herself in her mother's bedroom. Later, Nida found that she had been in a coma for 3 days. To everyone's surprise, Nida's recovery was incredible. But to Nida, her journey to heaven and reuniting with her beloved father was even more incredible. She still treasures this near-death experience which gave her a purpose and a much-needed hope to thrive ahead in life. Number 2. An angel was there by his window. Comes from Evans Gray, a 25-year-old young man who found himself stuck in a terrible situation on his flight. On his flight from Oslo to Istanbul, Evans found himself in an extremely helpless position when he had a strange ache in his chest. Since he was a healthy young man, Evans thought that it was probably a gastric issue. We take a moment to sincerely appreciate your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel if you genuinely enjoy viewing these kinds of stories. This way, you'll be able to stay up to date on all of our new releases, including this one. Make sure to link up to us right away. Now let's continue with our story. However, the chest pain intensified with time and Evans shouted for help. The aircraft crew tried to give him first aid. There were announcements for doctors on board. A lady doctor soon showed up. But Evans couldn't find any relief. He could only feel the pain intensifying as if killing him. By then, he was breathing fast, and everything went black. Evans woke up in another place. Everything was cool, and the pain was gone. As he looked up, he found himself in his childhood home in Oslo. He was sitting near the window of his old room. A beam of light rippled down, and Evans felt as if he was floated up with ease by an unforeseen force. Evans saw a glimpse of a creature, as if made of the light that fell on him. Evans could see a glimpse of wings. It was an angel by his window. Evans felt a rush of calm. It didn't utter anything. It was as if the light healed him. Suddenly, he felt a great pressure on his chest, and he sat up straight. Evans found himself back on his flight. He had been transported back. The crew was delighted to see Evans open his eyes. Although at first, Evans felt he was dreaming, but later he realized that he had actually healed from the chest ache. There was no chest ache anymore. No more breathlessness. Evans remembered the healing light by the window. It was something real, something beyond the ordinary. For a long time, Evans wondered why did this experience coincide with his trip to Istanbul. Later on, Evans took this as a sign to leave his toxic past in Oslo, where he had extremely bitter memories. He thought his stay in Istanbul was meant to heal him from his past and give him a new beginning. 2 years after the incident, Evans Gray is working as a successful photographer in Istanbul. His NDE gave him a positive outlook towards life and a new beginning. Number 3. God guided her. The last story of today's episode comes from Janelia Morris, who is in her mid-30s and has spent a considerable part of her life conflicted about spirituality and God's existence. But her NDE gave her the guidance and direction she was looking for. Janelia recalls her adolescent days marked with extreme rebellion and rejection for spirituality. But God had different plans in store for her. With age and time, her atheist beliefs strengthened. On the eve of New Year, Janelia had spent the night with her friends. After the party, when Janelia was about to get to her friend's car to return home, she was stopped by a car. Some masked guys came out of a big black SUV and demanded her cash. In a drunken state, Janelia took some time to process what was happening. But it was too late. Her friends had already processed what was happening and left her on the spot with the burglars. They ran inside their cars and escaped. When Janelia tried to protest, the burglars took out their guns, shot her in the head, and ran after snatching her possessions. The intensity of pain and the feeling of numbness hit her instantly. As she plummeted to the ground, she could see her blood oozing out of the head with her wide eyes that lay open in shock. She could hear the noise, ambulance sirens and police around, but could not even move an inch. All she wished was for something to take this pain away and set everything right. Janelia remembers being rushed to hospital and surgeons standing above her, working with instruments as she groaned in pain. Later, everything went hazy and Janelia went into deep slumber. But something was pulling Janelia's hair and dragging her. She felt that she was being dragged by an imperceptible creature into a pitch-black darkness. The drag continued and the darkness intensified. Janelia was helplessly crying and swearing. Just then she uttered, "Oh God, please save me. Where am I heading?" At this moment, the dragging stopped. Janelia quickly got up to run, but there was no escape. She called out to God again. She knew He was there. He was around her. As she deeply felt a divine presence around her, there was a white ray of light. There was a way out of the darkness, finally. At this moment, Janelia opened her eyes and heard the doctor say, "The surgery has been successful." Janelia knew it wasn't the successful surgery that saved her, but divine intervention. A sign for her to open her eyes to witness the reality of her friends and the real world. A master plan of God to meet her and make her believe in his existence. That's all for today, folks. Have you ever seen an angel, felt a divine connection, or seen heavens? Do tell us about your take on today's episode and share your NDE in the comment section below. On that note, we hope that you thoroughly enjoyed today's episode with us. To share your thoughts regarding this latest video, do comment down below and let us know your valuable feedback. You can also support our channel by clicking the subscribe button and turning on your notifications so that you never miss an update from us. Until next time, stay blessed.